Welcome to Blush Rose Tarot. This is a place where tarot and astrology meet. Sometimes the sky speaks, and sometimes the cards speak on their own. Today is one of those times where the cards speak on their own. And so we're just going to jump right into it and see what message the cards have for you. Okay, so the very first card coming out is the King of Swords. So immediately this is feeling like someone is trying to stay composed, trying to understand everything logically instead of emotionally. The King of Swords is clarity, control, and he's discernment. But sometimes this card appears when a person has had to become emotionally guarded just to survive what they've been through. So right away, the energy feels like self-protective, very much so like, I need to stay strong, I need to think clearly. But then the next card comes out and it's the Five of Cups. So this changes the emotional tone because underneath the King of Swords is grief. It's loss, disappointment, something still emotionally unresolved. The mind is trying to move forward, but the heart is still standing beside spilled cups. So this feels like someone is replaying the past while pretending that they're already over it. And then the third card comes out and this is the Knight of Cups. This is important because the Knight of Cups softens the message. It says the heart is not closed forever. So despite the grief, despite the emotional protection, there is a longing here. Still vulnerability, still hope for connection, meaning, love, or maybe emotional honesty. So already this message is feeling like a battle between emotional self-protection and emotional openness. Next card is Judgment, and honestly, this feels more like a wake-up call. So Judgment enters a reading when the soul cannot stay asleep anymore. It's realization, it's awakening, it's a moment where someone begins hearing themselves clearly for the first time in a long time. So this card feels like, I can't keep living inside the old version of me. And directly after Judgment comes the Page of Wands. So this feels like a first spark returning. Curiosity, there's motivation, creative energy, a small but meaningful desire to live again instead of just survive. The Page of Wands feels fragile here, like someone relearning excitement after emotional heaviness. And then the next card we have is the Three of Cups. So suddenly the energy is like expanding outwards. This can be friendship, it can be reconnection, support, celebration. It can be a lot of things. It could be emotional healing through community. It feels like life slowly re-entering the picture, like someone beginning to laugh again, talk again, reconnect again. But then we pause because we have the Four of Cups. This feels emotionally complicated. Even though healing opportunities are appearing, part of this person still feels disconnected from joy. Maybe still emotionally withdrawn, still uncertain whether they can fully receive what's being offered. So this story becomes very human. One side wants renewal, the other side is still emotionally exhausted. And then we get into the Six of Swords. So this is transition. Quiet movement away from the emotional turbulence. Not fully healed yet, but no longer trapped where they were before. So this feels like someone crossing emotional waters slowly and carefully. Then we have the Ace of Crystals. So this feels grounding. A new beginning appears here, but not emotionally this time. Materially, physically, spiritually. A chance to rebuild stability, maybe rebuild self-worth, your security, your purpose. So this starts to become less about loss and more about reconstruction. Then the Two of Crystals comes out. So immediately I hear learning balance again, trying to hold multiple realities at once, healing while surviving daily, balancing emotional growth with practical responsibility, and then the Wheel of Fortune, and this changes everything because the wheel reminds us that nothing stays frozen forever. Not pain, not grief, not confusion, nothing. This message suddenly feels deeply karmic, like cycles are turning and something destined is shifting beneath the surface. And then we go back to crystals. So now we're into the Three of Crystals. So this feels like rebuilding with intention, learning through experience, creating something stronger than before, and maybe really allowing growth to happen slowly instead of forcing like an immediate transformation. And finally, the Four of Crystals. So this feels protective. After everything this message moved through, you have grief, awakening, emotional vulnerability, rebuilding. This feels like somebody trying to create safety, trying to hold on to stability, trying not to lose themselves again. But what's beautiful is that this final card, it doesn't feel fearful here. It feels intentional, like someone learning the difference between isolation and self-preservation. So the full message in this reading feels like a person who began emotionally guarded and quietly grieving, who slowly awakened themselves again, who started reconnecting with life piece by piece, and who is now rebuilding stability from a wiser place than before. Not because the storm never happened, but because they survived it. And that is beautiful. That was such a great message. I am so grateful for you spending time here with me at Blush Rose Tarot. That's all I have for you today. Until next time, take what resonates and let the rest pass.